Hey everyone, this is KennedyHawk from Marvel Champions Monthly Podcast. Today we're going to be doing a learning game of Marvel Champions the card game by Fantasy Flight Games. So if you haven't had a chance to check this game out, once the quarantine's over, you can go buy this game at your local game shop. It's a pretty awesome core set with a couple expansions out already. So we'll do a brief overview of the game. The best thing about this game, most of the LCGs when you buy them, you have to go build a deck or do something else. With this game, coming right in the box is a prepackaged Peter Parker Spider-Man deck and a Captain Marvel Carol Danvers deck as well. And it prepacks a villain for you to fight against. This is a cooperative game, so you'll fight in your first game against Rhino. The Rhino, Spider-Man's villain. So we're going to do a solo game today. The game is for 1 to 4 players. You get enough in your core set to play with 4 players. And we'll sort of overview the game. So in this game, you're going to play as a hero or alter ego / alter ego. You really get to play as both sides of the character. And you'll be fighting some villain. So Rhino here, you can see he has 1 SCH, which is Scheme, 2 ATK, which is Attack, and some cool flavor text. In the bottom, you'll see it says Rhino 1 of 21, and hit points 14 with a little person symbol. That person symbol means per player. So if you had 2 players, he'd have 28 health. With 1 player, he has 14. This is the villain you're going to have to defeat, and in every game of Marvel Champions, you're going to defeat each villain twice. So you'll defeat Rhino on stage 1, in the top right there's a 1. You'll defeat him on stage 2, in the top right there's a 2. We won't talk too much about the second stage until we get there. Each villain is trying to complete a scheme. So here's Rhino's scheme, the break-in. Rhino is attacking a shield facility. How shocking. It'll tell you how to set up the game. So it says Rhino 1 and 2, or 2 and 3 for experts. There's 2 difficulties of each villain. Include Rhino and standard encounter cards and 1 modular encounter set, recommended bomb scare. So Rhino's standard cards are here. That's the rest of his 21 card deck. But we also need to include the standard cards for our starter game and bomb scare. The best news is all of these cards are available directly in a prepackaged deck when you open your box of Marvel Champions. So you'll get all those cards right away. You're going to be fighting against Rhino as a hero. So there's lots of heroes in the core set. There's Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and She-Hulk. You can play with any of those heroes, and you're going to pick a hero, which comes with 15 cards. So if I look into She-Hulk's bag here, there's a 15-card She-Hulk deck that will always be included when you play as She-Hulk. You'll also choose an aspect, either Justice, which specializes in stopping the villain's scheme, Protection, which specializes in defending against the villain, Leadership, which specializes in recruiting other heroes to help, and Aggression, which specializes in stopping the villain with brute force. So you'll pick an aspect to combine with your hero deck, and then there's basic cards that can be used by everybody's deck. So you'll get all 4 of those aspects and all 5 of those heroes in the starter deck, and any of them can be mixed and matched, right? 5 heroes, 4 aspects. That means each hero has 4 decks. You have 20 different decks in the starter set, and that doesn't count you tweaking and pulling cards out for basic cards and things like that. Lots of repeatability. So let's talk through player cards really quick so we can figure out how we're going to defeat Rhino. We need to defeat Rhino twice, so we need to do 14 damage and then some other amount of damage on stage 2. How are we going to do damage? Well, each character in this game is represented by an alter ego and a hero. So Peter Parker / Spider-Man, you'll always start in your alter ego form. You're a high school scientist here, or a NY University scientist, I guess. You have some sort of ability, you have a hand size in the bottom, and hit points in the bottom. So we're going to need a hit point meter so we know how much health Peter Parker has. He starts with 10 health. During your turn, you can be able to flip from one form to the other. You can only flip once per turn, so use that wisely. On your hero side, or on your alter ego side, you see this REC, that is recovery. So if you exhaust on your hero side, you'll be able to recover that many hit points. You can't go above your maximum, though. So Spider-Man here, he has Thwart, THW, Attack, ATK, and Defense, DEF. So thwarting, when I thwart, let's say Rhino's scheme had some threat on it because he had been progressing his scheme. If I exhaust to thwart, I can remove that much threat from the scheme. If I exhaust to attack, I can deal that much damage to Rhino. And if I exhaust to defend when Rhino attacks me, or a minion, I can reduce the incoming damage by my defense value. So Spider-Man is very good at defense, okay at attack, meager at thwarting. So that's your hero card. You also have a bunch of cards in your hand. So you're going to have cards in your hand. Like I said, you have a hand size of 6 in Peter Parker. Note in Spider-Man you have a hand size of 5 because you're out there fighting villains. You got to, be focused on the villain, not be focused on getting things out into the board from your hand. So here, here are all the different card types you can have in this game. We're going to start with events. Events, here's a 3-cost event called Swinging Web Kick. Note it says hero action. I'll have to be in hero form to play this card. Deal 8 damage to an enemy. Pretty good. You can see in the bottom right, this says Spider-Man 8 of 15. It's one of his 15 cards. So events are one-time use cards. You play them, they go right into your discard pile. Next type is allies. These are those other heroes that leadership specializes in recruiting. There's an ally in each hero's deck and also in each of the aspects, but leadership really focuses on them. So allies have a cost, they have a thwart and an attack value, and hit points. They have these little starbursts, oops, sorry, drew hurt in my hand, starbursts under their thwart and attack values. When they perform a thwart or attack, they take that much damage. So Black Cat's unique, she's one of the only allies that doesn't take this consequential damage when attacking, so pretty cool. You can have supports, which are cards that come into play that you can use over and over again. A lot of times supports are locations like Avengers Mansion, but this is Peter Parker's special support, Aunt May. She can heal him when he's in alter ego form only. You can also have upgrades, which are usually things that upgrade your hero. So here's some web shooters. You can give Spider-Man some web shooters. It comes into play with 3 counters on it. You exhaust web shooters to remove a counter from it, and then you generate a resource. So let's take a second and talk about resources here. I said Swinging Web Kick was a 3-cost event. How do I pay for an event? If you look in the bottom left of each of these cards we've looked at, there's different symbols. So in the bottom left here, you have a blue symbol representing a mental resource. Here you have a red symbol representing a physical resource. And here you have a yellow symbol representing an energy resource. These resources are what you'll use to spend or play cards. So if I have Swinging Web Kick in my hand, and I have these 3 cards, here's my hand, I can pay 1, 2, 3 resources, discarding those cards, to play Swinging Web Kick. So that's how you pay resources. At the end of each turn, you're going to draw up to your hand size, so it's advantageous to play through all the cards in your hand. And that brings us to our 4th or 5th card type, resources. So resources are cards that generally make more resources than others. Most cards are worth 1 resource. Resources can be worth 2 or more, depending on which one you have. So those are some cards from Spider-Man's deck. I also wanted to show you the difference between all the different card types here. So you have your hero cards that come in your 15-card hero kit. You also have basic cards, they'll say basic in the bottom right, Spider-Man cards, and aspect cards. So the starter deck for Spider-Man is a Spider-Man Justice deck. So we're going to specialize in slowing Rhino's scheme progress. Each hero is also going to come with a specific thematic obligation that'll get shuffled into the bad guy's villain deck. So we're going to shuffle both our decks, and then let's talk through the phases really quick so you guys can know what the phase structure is. And then we'll get kicked off with the game so you guys can just watch and learn as we play. So you always begin with the player phase. Each player is going to take a turn. On your turn, you can play cards, you can trigger actions, you can request actions, you can use basic attack, thwart, and recovery powers. You could attack with an ally or with yourself. You can change forms once per phase, flip your hero, and you can end your turn. So those are the things you can do. After each player has finished their turn, everybody will discard any number of cards they want to from their hand and draw up to their hand size and ready all your cards. So at the end of the first hero turn, we're going to get to be ready. So there's no reason to not use your hero or alter ego every turn, because you're always going to get readied to be prepared for the villain's turn. So in a multiplayer game, you could have 4 people around the table go, all before Rhino takes his first turn, but he's going to have a lot more health. He'd have 28 times 2, so that's like 56 health in a 4-player game. That's a lot more health than 14. So players take their turns at the beginning of each turn, each round. Next phase is the villain phase. In the villain phase, a lot of steps are going to happen. So this scheme is going to be out here. Rhino has this scheme, the break-in. It's only one stage. It says if this stage is completed, the players lose the game. Some villains will have multiple schemes they have to go through before they win. But Rhino, he's not a thinker. He just does one thing, and he does it really good. So you can see a 0 there. That means that this scheme starts with a 0 threat. You can see the little arrow that has the +1 per player, the per player symbol. At the beginning of the villain phase, you're going to increment the main scheme's theme by that incremental amount. So you'll increase it by 1 per player. So in solo, we'll put 1 free threat in the scheme every round. This top left corner, the 7 per player symbol, if this scheme ever reaches 7 per player, so in solo 7 threat, the players lose the game because the stage has been completed. And that's how a main scheme can complete itself. So you'll do your incremental threat. Then, starting with the first player, in solo there is only 1 player, but the first player will move around the board in multiplayer. the villain will activate against each player. So let's say I was in hero form. When I'm in hero form, Rhino wants to attack me because I'm engaged with him. So he has 2 attack. He's going to get a random card from his deck. I'll have the opportunity to defend. If I defend, I'll reduce his attack by this green value, 3. And he'll add, see those little triangles in the bottom of the card? He'll add that much to his attack. So he's swinging for 4, I defended for 3, I would take 1 damage. That's how an attack works. If you're in alter ego form, that means you're not engaged with Rhino, so he can just work on his scheme. So here he would scheme for 1 plus 2. So he'd put 3 on here, and 7 makes us lose the game. So scheming can be very dangerous, even for Rhino, someone who's dumb and only has 1 scheme. So that's how the villain's attack goes. If there was a minion engaged with you after the villain attacks, the minion would attack you, but the minions don't get dealt that boost card, so you kind of know their predetermined damage so you can plan for it. After the villain has activated against each player, and all the minions have, each player will be dealt an encounter card, so player 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, starting with the first player, you will reveal your encounter cards and resolve them. So this is an attachment that attaches to Rhino. It gives him a bunch of attack. Sounds really bad. So different cards will come out based on which cards you draw, which cards get used as boosts, so the game's kind of randomized and changes every time. Once he has dealt a card to each player and each player has resolved their card, we will then pass the first player token around. Again, this is going to be a solo playthrough, so there will only be 1 player, but in multiplayer you would take turns being the first player. So let's get set up and ready to go. I'm going to get the camera angle a little better here for you guys. We're going to shuffle our deck, shuffle Rhino's deck. Remember, our hand size is 6, so we will draw 6 cards because we're starting in alter ego form. Alright, so right away we got some cool stuff here. I'm going to explain the mulligan to you guys. So when you mulligan in this game, you discard cards from your hand. They don't come back to your hand right away. You just discard them and then you draw that many cards. So I drew back up to 6. Spider-Man doesn't have any fancy setup ability that I have to worry about. So on my turn, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Power of Justice card. This card says max 2 per deck, double the number of resources this card generates when paying for a yellow card. So we're going to play this Surveillance Team Support. It comes into play with 3 use counters. And I can exhaust it to remove 1 threat from a scheme and remove 1 use counter. If it runs out of counters, it goes to my discard. Pretty simple. We're also going to pay 2 for Black Cat. She's pretty cool. After you play Black Cat, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. If any of them had the mental blue resource, you would put it back into your hand, but none of them did. So Black Cat's pretty cool because she takes no consequential damage for attacking, so she's just going to ping Rhino for 1, doing a basic attack. I forgot to use my little special ability here, so Peter can generate a resource once per round. He has to spend it right when he generates it, so he can't generate it and then flip or anything like that. But we'll use it again in the future. We're going to flip to Spider-Man right away. We're going to punch for 1, 2. So we got him down to 13, and we can ready everybody up. So that's the end of the round. We're going to draw up to our hand size. We're going to choose to not discard this swinging web kick. So that's the first hero phase. We survived. We've got new cards in our hand, so we're ready to deal with Rhino's advances. So he's going to get 1 threat, starting the villain phase. He's going to activate against us, so he's going to attack us for 2. Spider-Man has a cool ability. When the villain initiates an attack against you, draw a card. So I get to draw a card. Sounds great. And I'm not going to defend, because I have some pretty cool events in my hand that I'll show you guys. So he's going to attack for 2, 3, 4. That's a pretty big attack, right? 4 of my 10 health. I have a cool event that comes in Spider-Man's deck. It's an interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, just like this, prevent all of that damage for 0 cost. That sounds great. I'll play that one for sure. And then we get dealt an encounter card. So our encounter card is Peter's Obligation. So give to the Peter Parker player, that's me. You may flip to alter ego form, which we will do. Exhaust Peter Parker to remove this from the game, or do bad things. We don't want to do bad things, so I'll put it up there so you guys can see it, but we're going to discard it. So that was Bad Guy Land. It's now time for Good Guy Land. We can use this Snoop counter. There's an action we can use in either form to remove a counter, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. We'll use Black Cat to attack the villain. I think we will use Peter's ability to play one of these interrogation rooms. This says max 1 per player. After you defeat a minion, exhaust interrogation room to remove 1 threat from a scheme. So no minions out. We're not going to use it yet, but may as well get it out of our hand because we're going to draw up to our full hand size. So we want to play this card Swinging Web Kick because it's really good. So we're going to flip because it's a hero action, and now we're in hero form. So we got to spend 3 resources. So 1, 2, 3 resources go to our discard pile. And we can do a Swinging Web Kick to Rhino's face for 8 damage. That is a huge attack, super thematic. Spider-Man just kicking Rhino right in the face. That's going to end our turn because we don't have anything else we can do. We're going to drop to 5. Alright, a lot of not super great cards. He's going to get 1 threat. He's going to attack us. We get to draw a card. This time we're going to defend. So he's attacking us for 2. Just 2. Not so bad. So we take 0 damage. I should have pointed out, so this was like a Rhino card, Rhino 11 of 21. This is a basic or a standard card, so those go into every villain scenario right now. There's also those bomb scare cards mixed in there. We haven't seen any of those yet. So he attacked us. Now we get an encounter card. Hey, it's a minion. When revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. We'll place a threat because we can remove it if we're able to defeat him, which we should be able to do. It doesn't seem like it should be that bad. Alright, let's do some stuff. Let's pay 1, 2, 3, 4 for another ally, Nick Fury. He's a pretty good ally. 2 thwart, 2 attack, forced response. When he enters play, choose 1. Remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage. I'm going to draw 3 cards because I like cards. And I drew really good ones, so that's great. We're going to pay 1, 2, 3, 4 for an Avengers Mansion. Avengers Mansion's a basic support. You can just exhaust it to draw a card. So our hand size is effectively bigger now. Alright, well that was Bad Guy Central, or Good Guy Central. We're going to use Nick Fury to defeat this Hydra Bomber. So we can use Interrogation Room to remove a threat, and we can use Surveillance Team to remove another threat. Nick will take a consequential damage, because he has that under attacking, and he gets discarded at the end of the round anyway. I didn't read that part of his text, but he's going to go away eventually. Black Cattle Ping for 1. We didn't quite push Rhino to the next stage, and that's probably good for us. So we'll talk about why in a little bit. So he's going to get a threat. He's going to attack us for 2. He is initiating an attack against us, so we can draw a card. So I said how you could defend with your hero. You can also defend with allies by exhausting them. So I'm going to defend with Nick Fury because he's going to go away anyway. So he's going to hit Nick Fury for 4. There's no like splash damage in this game, so even though Nick Fury only has 2 health left, no more comes to me. There's special cards that will do that, but it's not just like standard. So Nick Fury will leave us due to that attack, but we take no damage. That's pretty cool. Next we get dealt an encounter card. It is Gang Up, and the villain is going to attack us again. So the villain's attacking us again with Gang Up. It reveals, when revealed, Alter Ego. This card gains Surge. Well, we're a hero. When revealed hero, the villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. So if we had left that bomber dude out, he would have attacked us too. So he's going to attack us again. That's another initiation. So we do get to draw another card. We don't have a fancy web, or what's it called, backflip to get out of this one. So I'm going to have to exhaust to defend. He's going to do 2, 3 damage, so we take none because we defended. So this is why Spider-Man is a nice player to play against Rhino for the first time, because you can mitigate a lot of that damage. It just makes the game take a long time. So that's the bad guy's turn. Let's draw a card with Avengers Mansion. Drawing cards is good. Let's have Black Cat hit this guy. Hit him for his last health. We won, right? Nope. Halfway through the game. So first let's set his new health is 15. Let's look at his stats. So he was a 1-2 with just flavor text. I'm Rhino. I knock things down. That's what I do. That's who I am. Pretty cool. Now he is a 1-3, so more attack. Still kind of stupid. When revealed, search the encounter deck for a side scheme named Breakin' and Taken and put it into play. So far, we've had mainly treachery cards come out of here. There's lots of different cards that can come out of the villain deck as well. So this is the first side scheme. So it starts with 2 threat on it. That's the 2, and then it add 1 per player. So it'll have 3 threat. That symbol is a hazard icon. So during the deal encounter cards, part of the villain phase, we're going to deal 1 extra encounter card per hazard symbol. So you go around the table, if you have 3 players and 2 hazard symbols, the first and second player will get an extra encounter card. Real bad stuff. And that was from Black Cat flipping him. So we can try to get rid of this turn. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot to thwart with. So we're going to pay 2, 3... for a Mockingbird ally. She's a basic ally, a 1-1. When she enters play, she stuns a villain. This is our first time using a status token. So there's 3 statuses: stunned. The next time this character would attack, discard this status instead. Confused is the same thing for thwart. Tough is the same thing for taking damage. So 1 good token for us and 2 bad tokens for us, because the villain could stun or confuse us, which would be bad. So Mockingbird stunned the villain because he's like, whoa, who's this Mockingbird chick? Hint, she's a SHIELD spy agent that has close relationships with Hawkeye. So she came into play. That's great. Super happy. Glad she's here. Let's pay 1, 2, 3 for a Helicarrier. It's another one of those basic cards. And Helicarrier, you can exhaust it to reduce the cost of the next card you're going to play. So we're going to get a free Aunt May out there. We will use our surveillance team to remove 1 of these 3 threat, but you'll notice we didn't get rid of that card. It's going to be hard to do. Mockingbird will remove 1 and she'll take a consequential damage, but it's still there. We're just stuck with it. Surveillance team ran out of counters, so we're going to discard it, but everything else will get to stay out here. So we'll make a little bit of room, ready everything up, and draw our 4 cards. You'll notice we didn't do a lot of flipping to Alter Ego, because Spider-Man can kind of like maintain his health. But if I was taking a lot of damage, I'd have to flip and heal as Peter. Just haven't had to do that yet. So he's going to get a threat. He's going to try to attack us, but he's stunned. So the stunned, the status card, these status cards always take priority, so it gets discarded instead. And because it got discarded, it replaces the entire attack effect. So Spider-Man won't trigger his spider senses, oops, and draw us a card. We don't get to draw it this turn. So we skip the attack, but we have 2 encounter cards to deal with. The regular one, and then 1 from Breaking and Taken. So the first one, the villain attacks you, so he will attack us. We'll get to draw a card. We got backflip, so we're not going to defend. His boost card, oops, his boost card is a +2 attack, so he's hitting us for 5, and we're going to say, nah, not today, bro. Next card, I'm tough. Bring it, Rhino says. Give Rhino a tough status card. If Rhino already had a tough status card, this card gains surge. Well, he did not, so the next bit of damage we do will be canceled. But that's not so bad for our extra encounter card. It could have been a lot worse. So it's our go. Good news is we have the best tough killer ever, and her name is Felicia Hardy Black Cat. So she will ping him for 1 and get rid of tough. Waste as little damage as possible. We'll draw a card from Avengers Mansion. Hey, look, it's a good card. We know that's a good card. So let's pay 1, 2, 3 using our mansion, or our Helicarrier. I should have done that as an action before I started paying the cost, but I'm sure you guys will forgive me. And I will swing at Rhino's face for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great, he's down to 7. Spider-Man can pop him for 2 more. And we're going to use Mockingbird to get rid of this Breaking and Taken, because I just don't like the idea of 2 encounter cards. Getting rid of that hazard symbol seems really good right now. Alright, we are also going to pay 2 here for a surveillance team, so that's going to come in with those 3 tokens. I'm just going to put 2 tokens on it and remove a threat right away, and then ready up to end my turn. So I'm drawing 5 cards. Uh-oh, my deck ran out. So what happens then is you flip your deck over and shuffle it. As a penalty for taking so long, you get dealt an encounter card that you'll resolve at the end of the next villain phase. And then I continue drawing to my hand size. So I got 5 cards again. Bad guy's turn. He gets a threat. He is going to attack us, so we'll do that. We will defend, and he's attacking for 3, 4. So we take our first point of damage. Feels good. And then we get 2 encounter cards because we decked out. So that's 2 turns in a row. Uh-oh, he attacks us again. So we draw a card. It is not backflip. So this attack is, he attacks you. If a character is damaged by this attack, that character is stunned. So now I'll teach you my favorite thing about allies. So Mockingbird has 2 consequential damage because we've used her twice. So we'll defend with Mockingbird. She's going to get hit for 5, even though she only had 1 life left. And then she takes that stun token for me from Stampede. So that feels perfecto. I really like that. One thing I should note when you're building your deck, all these allies that have the unique symbol, you're only allowed 1 of each unique card in your deck. So even though you're going through your deck a lot, you're not going to have everything else you can have up to 3 of. You're only going to have 1 of each ally. So that's kind of how their balance works, since you've seen that they're really powerful. Our next card is another side scheme. Whoa! 2 threat per player, so that's just 2. Panic civilians crowd the area. It is difficult to confront Rhino without putting them at risk. Get those people to safety. Spider-Man's great at that. And it has a crisis symbol, so that means we cannot remove threat from the main scheme while this crisis card is in play. So we basically have to remove 2 threat before we can even remove main scheme threat. The good news is we almost got this guy taken care of. So let's draw a card with Avengers Mansion for our turn. We're going to reduce by 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's a power of justice. And we can play Daredevil. Daredevil, he will thwart against this side scheme. When he thwarts against a scheme, or thwarts, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Padink. Feels great. So now we can use our Snoop counter to remove a threat there, keep us feeling pretty safe. Black Cat, ping this guy for 1, and oh, sorry, yes. Daredevil should have taken a consequential damage. Thank you for calling me out. Let's get a web shooters out there, and another web shooters. These come into play with 3 tokens as well, and they can generate a resource when you're in hero form for the cost of a token. So we're going to ready everything up. I'm going to discard emergency and draw 5 cards. Alright, we got 2 swinging web kicks. All we have to do is live. He gets a damage, he's going to attack us, we'll draw a card. No backflip, we'll defend. His attack is 3-4, so we take another damage. We get to 1 encounter card only, and it's a guard mercenary. Well, that's a bugger. I think we still got this, guys, but we'll learn what guard does. So guard, when this minion is engaged with you, you can not attack the villain. Or villains, if there were 2 villains. So, starting our turn, we'll draw a card. What we're going to do is we're going to have Black Cat attack this guy. We're going to have Daredevil, instead of thwarting, attack this guy for 2. That'll kill the guard minion for us. And now Spider-Man is free to super thematically swinging web kick to Rhino's face. Boom, 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 boom. He is now dead. That's the 2nd stage we've defeated, so we have won the beginner game. How exciting for everyone. So, let's do something here, and we will play again, but this time in expert mode, so you guys can see the difference between standard and expert, and really see the replayability of this awesome, 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 awesome game. So, bear with me, I'm going to move some stuff around really quick. This trash can bag is particularly in my way. So we're going to start against this guy who has 15 health. I shouldn't have played all those cards from my hand, because all they did is make it so I have to remove all these tokens. This is where the game is a lot easier in real life. I guess this is real life, but in non-digital real life, you know what I mean. So yeah, definitely check this game out. You can pick it up at your favorite local game store. If they do curbside pickup, you can order it offline. There's lots of expansions, so each expansion will come as, like, if you're getting a hero, it's like a full hero deck, so it comes as like a pre-constructed deck, and some of the expansions are villains, so they're like a villain with a bunch of new modular sets that you can mix in and stuff like that. So we're fighting against Rhino Expert this time, so he's going to start in stage 2 with 15 health, and we'll start with this break it and take it thing in play. Super annoying, right? We're going to start an alter ego just like normal. That means 10 health. We need to put our obligation back into the deck because we removed it, and we have to mix in this expert set. We could also swap out for one of these other modular sets that comes in the core set, but we're just going to leave it with Bomb Scare today. That way you guys have only been exposed to one modular set, and everything else will still be a surprise for you. So, he's starting with higher attack. We'll see how this goes. We're going to shuffle our deck, shuffle his deck, and draw our opening hand of 6 cards. Alright, we got our swinging web kick, we got our backflip. I'm pretty happy with those things. I'm going to get rid of these other things and hope that I get double resources so I can do more damage round 1. Not exactly. Alright, well, we can use Peter's ability to play Aunt May for free. That way if we need to heal, since he's got more damage, we're prepared. Then we will flip, and we'll pay 1, 2, 3 for a swinging web kick to face for 8 damage. Peter's going to slowly chip away at this scheme. It's going to be the worst part of his life right now. And then he's going to ready up and draw 3 cards only, because we're going to keep everything in our hand. So Rhino's going to get a threat. He's going to initiate an attack against us, so we'll use Spider-Man's ability to draw a card. Not a Rhino card, sorry. A card from our deck. We're not going to defend, because we have backflip. So Rhino's going to hit for 3. And we will say, psh, not today, sir. And then we get 2 encounter cards, because break it and take it. So the first one is another side scheme, Bomb Scare. Starts with 2 threat, and then you add 1 per player. This is the 3rd type of side scheme token, or icon. It's an acceleration icon. So you can remember I said you increment this by 1 per player at the beginning of the round. Well, now it's 1 per player plus 1 per acceleration icon. So that's an extra thing hitting him just for fun. And oh my goodness, is side scheme crazy. Spider-Man is not a big fan of this. Another side scheme, saying we can't remove stuff from the main scheme until we get rid of it. So we need some thwarting power, but we don't got none in our hand. So we'll see how this goes. Well, Spider-Man, we're kind of in trouble here. I'm going to play these web shooters because that's resources for the future. You guys saw those last game, we just didn't use them. And then I guess I just go for face, swinging web kick at Rhino. That's going to hit him for 8. So he'll flip to the next phase. That'll feel good. Toughness. So he gains a tough counter, and he stuns all of the heroes. So he's going to stun Spider-Man, which is a bummer. Spider-Man is going to remove a threat here because we got to get rid of this break-in and take-in thing that's going on. And we're going to ready up and draw 5. Daredevil, that's exactly who we needed here, so that's good. He's going to get 1 threat. He is going to attack us. We'll initiate that attack with this thing. We're not going to defend because, again, backflip. So he's attacking us for 5. You'll notice he's a 1/4 now. You brought this on yourself, says Rhino. But I backflipped out of it. So I did bring it on myself, but I don't feel too bad. And actually, I cheated here. This acceleration token, I should have added 2 threat at the beginning of the villain phase. So he's almost halfway to winning. And he's got 2 hazard cards here. The first one is he's going to attack us. If he deals damage, we are stunned. So he initiates an attack, we draw a card. I don't care about being stunned, so I'm already stunned. So he's going to attack us for 5. Maybe I do care, because that was half my health. Painful, painful, painful. And we become stunned, but you can't double up on status tokens, so I don't get double stunned or anything like that. And it's going to put a guard minion out there. Wow. What a steaming pile right now, huh? Well, that's our go. We need to get rid of this thing. So we're going to pay 1, 2, 3. This is a resource. 4 for Daredevil. Daredevil's pretty cool. When he thwarts something, which he's going to thwart for 2 right there, he can place a damage on an enemy. So he'll start hitting this Hydra minion for us. I think Spider-Man will remove the last threat from break-in and take-in by thwarting. And then we'll use 4 Justice for 2. If we paid using a mental resource, it'll remove 4 threat instead of 3, but we only need to remove 3 because we're just getting rid of that guy right there. So that's our entire hand. We kind of need to flip and use Aunt May to heal us for 4. So we'll do that. We're going to ready everything up and see how things go here. So we can move our hero back to the, whoa, crazy physics. Next gen. Back to the normal spot for us. So we're going to draw up to our hand size. So in standard mode, we never even flipped back, but here we had to flip back to heal, so that feels good. Drawn 6 cards. Look at all those great cards that we had from last game. So Rhino's going to get 2 threat because the acceleration thing. He's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3. See, being alter ego form, very dangerous. This guy's going to scheme for 0. Not a big deal. And I'm tough. Give Rhino a tough status card. If he already had one, surges. Surge means draw another card. So Stampede. If you're an alter ego, this card surges. Uh-oh. Shadows of the Past. This is one of the standard cards. I'm really glad this happened because it's part of the thing that makes the game so much fun. Shadows of the Past reads to take your set-aside Nemesis deck. So we had that obligation we shoveled in. We also have a Nemesis. Our Nemesis is Vulture. You're going to put Vulture, his side scheme into play and shuffle 3 other cards into the villain deck that specifically target your hero. So we need to clean up our play area here a little bit. It's gone a little bit crazy. We didn't expect the game to, whoa. Well, that was embarrassing. I had a Nick Fury in my hands. Let me go find him. Because I had all 4 allies in my hand, and I was not exactly pleased about it. Not sure where he went. If we're being honest. Let's search. Oh, there he is. Okay. So I have my 6 cards in hand because I was in alter ego form. We're just moving things around so we have a little bit more space here because we now have 2 minions engaged with us. So Vulture has Quick Strike. After he engages your hero, he attacks. Luckily, we're an alter ego. We're not a hero. Vulture don't know who we are. And each player places a random card face down here. So we're going to flip, group up, and hope that Nick Fury doesn't go away. So we're going to put a card face down there. And when we defeat that, we return that card to our hand. But that's a 3 on that side scheme. And now we have 2 acceleration side schemes. So 3 threat is going to go out at the beginning of this turn. We never set his health in phase 3, but he's at 16. So let's draw these cards back to our hand. Oh, he did take our Nick Fury. He would. What a chump. Alright, let's use Peter's ability to generate a resource and pay 1/2 for a Jessica Jones. She has 1 thwart to attack, but she gets +1 thwart for each side scheme. So she can deal with all this nastiness for us. So she's got 3 thwart right now. Let's get rid of Vulture's side scheme. That'll return this to our hand. Let's use Aunt May to heal, because we can. And then we'll flip. So we're going to use our resource here and pay 1, 2, 3, 4 with our resource for a Nick Fury. So we've got 3 allies in play. You're not allowed more than 3 allies without other special rules. So when Nick comes in, he's going to punch Vulture for 4. That was one of his options. We're going to have Daredevil thwart for 2 here and ping this guy. Ping. We'll have him ping Tough off of Rhino. We'll have Nick Fury get rid of this guy for us. So Spider-Man is now free to attack the villain. Is that what he's going to do, or is he going to thwart? I think he's going to attack the villain. Let's just... no, he can't attack. He's going to attack and clear stunned. How boring is that? So we're going to ready everything up. This all went into our discard pile, except Aunt May's at the bottom of it somewhere. We'll just grab her out. Keeping a real clean play area for you guys. This is what you should strive for. You should strive for something better than how KennedyHawk plays. So let's draw our hand of 5. He's going to get 2 threat. He is going to attack for 4 plus something. He'll initiate an attack against us. Luckily, we got chump blocker Nick Fury here. So he's going to hit Nick Fury for 5. Nick Fury is going to be like, screw this, let's get out of here. And then we get 1 encounter card. Discard 1 card at random for each player's hand. Place 1 threat in the main scheme for each different resource type discarded. So luckily, there's only 1 of us. So we're discarding a card at random. It is an enhanced spider senses. So we'll place 1 threat in the main scheme, but it is 1 threat from him winning. That's terrifying, right? I don't like that. Do you like that? I don't think so. And Daredevil should have 2 damage on him now, because we've used him twice. So it is our go. Let's have these 2 both thwart. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Daredevil will get to ping somebody for 1. Jessica Jones will take a damage, and Daredevil is unfortunately leaving us. He came to the party, but he had to go home early. Let's use a web shooter's resource. Plus 2, 3, 4 for a webbed up. This is a pretty cool attachment. Hero form only, put it on the enemy. The next time they would attack, instead you discard this and they become stunned. So it basically gets you out of 2 attacks. Spider-Man will hit him for 2. Just doing what we can, really. And then we're going to discard this card at the end of our turn. So we are drawing 5 cards, readying everything up. Our board is like empty now, as you can see. It's kind of terrifying. He's going to get 2 threat. He's going to try to attack us, but he's going to discard webbed up and become stunned. And then we get 1 encounter card, which heals him for 4. Back up to full health. Bummer. Alright, it is our go. Let's have Jessica Jones thwart for 2. She did what she knew how to do best. Thwart. We will pay 1, 2 for 4 justice. That'll let us remove 4 threat from something. We're just going to get rid of this bomb scare before it explodes. See what I did there? And then we're going to play an interrogation room just to get some stuff out of our deck. Let's draw cards up. We ran out. You know what that means. Bonus encounter card. That could be really bad for us. Bad guy's turn. He's going to get a threat. He's not going to attack us because stunned. And then we will get 2 of these lovely encounter cards. So the first one is a Hydra Bomber. That guy can damage us for 2. That's fine. The second one is giving him tough. It is really hard to hit him right now. It's just frustrating. Alright, well, Spider-Man will off this guy. Can use interrogation room to remove a threat. We'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4 for Avengers Mansion, draw a card. What we really need to do is get to our swinging web kicks at this point. So we're going to ready up, discard our enhanced senses, and draw 5. Alright, there's one of them. So he's going to get a threat. He's going to attack us. We will initiate that attack, but then we won't defend because we've got a backflip. So he's attacking for 4, 5. Could take almost all of our life away, but not today, sir. 1 encounter card, charge. This is cool. It's an attachment that goes in Rhino. His next attack gains overkill, so if I chump blocked with an ally, the excess damage would still hit me, and it gives him +3 attack, so he's hitting for 7 on his next attack. Not a big fan. It's our go. Let's draw a card. First aid, healing. Healing's good. We kind of like need to thwart. Keep that low. Let's pay 1, 2, 3 for a swinging web kick. That'll hit him for 8, but it'll just remove tough because I forgot the tough was there. It's a pain in the keister. Let's use this to play first aid and heal for 2. We're actually gonna flip, and that'll be that for this turn. So we are drawing 5 cards. We're gonna keep emergency for now. No swinging web kicks. All right. He's going to get a threat. He's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 threat. We're going to use emergency when the villain schemes, reduce it by 1, so it's only 2. Because that little Rhino card could really throw us into a pickle. All right. Well, out came a super tough ally. Sandman has toughness. Comes into play with tough counter. 2 scheme, 3 attack, 4 health. So this minion can really ramp up how much he hits us for or how much he schemes for. And that's the bad guy turn. So let's draw a card with Avengers Mansion. We got a backflip. That's always good. We need to let's flip. No, we can spend a resource. We'll play Daredevil. 1, 2, 3. Play Daredevil in ally form. Seems good. We'll flip. Daredevil will thwart for 2. He'll hit Rhino for 1. I think we just need to focus on downing Rhino at this point. And that's all we're going to do. Readying up. We're going to draw 4 cards. Hopefully they're all swinging web kicks. We got 1. Okay. He's going to get a threat. He is going to attack us for 7. He initiates an attack. We draw a card. We have backflips. We're not going to defend. He's going to attack for 7, 8, 9. Crazy. Not today. Sandman will hit us for 3. No, we don't draw that card because this is only when the villain attacks you that you get that bonus card. We get 1 encounter card. It heals Rhino. Only can heal him to his max health, which is 1, so not a big deal for us. And yes, Daredevil should have a consequential damage. Alright, it's our turn. We're going to draw a card with Mansion. We're going to pay 1, 2, for Black Cat. Remember, we have to discard those 2 cards. We're looking for mental resources. Hey, there's some with mental resources. That was ideal. Let's pay 1, 2, 3 for a swinging web kick. That'll hit Rhino for 8. On this charge, discards after he uses that attack. So I feel less worried now, but still a little bit worried. Daredevil will thwart for 2, and he'll ping Rhino for 1. Just trying to get him down as low as we can. Black Cat will ping Rhino for 1. And with that, we'll ready up. I'm going to discard Jessica Jones because I really want to fish for that swinging web kick. And we would have drawn it anyway because this was our 5th card. Bad guy turn. He gets a threat. He's going to attack us, so we'll initiate an attack. No, we don't have backflip, so we're going to defend. He's swinging for 4, 5. So we take 2. Sandman will hit us for 1, 2, 3. And we get 1 encounter card, which is Stun Your Hero. If Vulture is in play, this card gains Surge. That's really bad, because that means our swinging web kick, which is an attack, will just get canceled. Not a big fan of that. Let's draw a card and see if we can get a second attack. We do not. So we can do 3 damage right there. Mockingbird could get it to 4. That gets us really close. But we're going to have to flip. So I think we're better off thwarting for 2, pinging for 1 with Daredevil. Black Cat can hit for 1. That doesn't feel so bad. We'll pay 1, 2, 3 for Mockingbird, because she can stun Rhino. She can hit him for 1. Just get all the damage in that we can. We'll pay 2 for this thing that comes into play with these Snoop counters, because we really want the threat to be low, and we'll use 1 to get that to 0. So readying everything up. We're going to flip before we ready up, sorry. We're going to draw cards. Uh-oh. Our deck ran out. Second time. We might lose. Gambled a little bit too hard. He's going to get a threat. He is going to scheme for 1. Just 1. That feels good. This guy's going to scheme for 2. And now we have 2 of these cards to deal with. So the first one is something that searches, because we're in alter ego form. And then the villain schemes. He's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3. Bingo, bango. Spider-Man just lost the game. If we hadn't flipped there, that card wouldn't have surged, so we wouldn't have drawn advance. We would have gotten attacked twice. Probably would have lost to that. I guess we had 2 minions to block with, but it wouldn't have been pretty. But that's the game. So expert mode, a lot more challenging. We didn't even hit any of the expert mode cards that got mixed in, so I won't reveal those to you, even though they got shuffled in. I'll let you guys discover them as you play the game. So if you have any questions, make sure to leave comments in the YouTube video below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us, marvelchampionsmonthly.podbean.com, or check any podcasting platform, whatever app you use on your phone or your computer. We're probably on there, and if we're not, let me know. I'll get us added. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked this game. We'll probably do some more entry-level games, show you some of like the starter decks against some of the core set heroes, so that after this quarantine's over, if you decide to buy this game, you'll be well versed in these core set heroes and villains and know exactly how to play. Thanks for tuning in.